2.
Lift off.
Shakira.
That's right. Queen.
I mean, we are talking about identity today, and that is her alter ego. Apparently, it's Shakira. I got perimenopause Linda Perry over here. And
I need to have a little bit of a think. The first 2 things that come to mind would be like an adult perimenopausal Rainbow Bright.
oh,
What would we call her? Rainbow Not So Bright. Rainbow.
or is it like She-Ra, but She-Rage?
She Rage. Yeah. I did like She-Ra too.
Okay, She-Rage it is.
She Rage and She Rage.
She-Rage. Shakira. Linda Perry menopause. We're so great, guys. Kara, count us down.
I'm going to close my
All
eyes.
right, ready.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Two Mystic Mamas.
Honestly, that was perfect on my end.
See? I just need to do everything blind. All right. Kristen, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about identity work, which is hilarious considering the amount of by-play conversation we have had in the beginning of this around perimenopause and age and all the things. The whole concept, I think, of this episode when we first started talking about it is twofold. One, we have a lot of new listeners that we did not have a year ago. And I think that's so cool. Welcome, you guys. I'm actually going to pull up. So we have like so many new cities and countries. So I thought it would be cool to welcome some people from like new countries. So welcome, you guys. Vietnam.
Okay.
I know that's a new one for us. Iraq, Pakistan, Brazil, Finland, Spain. We have been in Singapore and the UK for quite some time, as well as Australia, but France, Argentina, Canada. In my mind, it's Jeremy and Darcy listening to us in Canada.
And also the Birds Papaya and Alicia McCarville.
Oh, yes. Mexico, Bangladesh, India, Chile, Uzbekistan, Russian Federation, Ukraine, Colombia, Lithuania, Ecuador, Norway, Venezuela, Italy, Netherlands, Lebanon, Indonesia, South Africa, Ireland, Tunisia, United Arab Emirates, Portugal, New Zealand, Jamaica, Morocco, Taiwan, Puerto Rico, Jordan, Bolivia, Peru, Egypt, Botswana, Slovakia, Armenia, Guatemala, Nigeria, Nicaragua, Israel, Iceland.
I feel like
Kenya.
we're at the Olympics.
I know. Thailand, Dominican Republic, South Korea, Virgin Islands, Bosnia, Nepal, Costa Rica, Bahrain.
Maybe we should just go through the countries that haven't started listening to us.
I know. I'm almost there. Japan, Poland, El Salvador, Qatar, Algeria, Senegal. I mean, listen, I can keep going. Also Serbia, Uruguay. Like, what? Are you kidding me?
That's cray.
Welcome, people all over the world listening to these basic bitches in Pittsburgh.
That's right. That's right. What did we say our perimenopause names are? She Rage. I'm She Rage.
She Rage, and I'm Linda Perry Menopause. Linda Perry. She's got such a...
She's a hat queen.
She is a hat queen. She's friends with Dolly. And
Who's she married to?
She has a bad reputation for being a bitch in the music industry.
But she's married to someone famous too.
Is she? I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic because this is one that I feel like we touch on different stories throughout different episodes where it's a reflection of where we once were versus where we are now. And this one is just like more all encompassing of that. And I think that this is such a beautiful exercise that any of our listeners can do where they can just take some time to reflect on where they were a year ago or 5 years ago, or even like a week ago, depending on, when shifts and things change. And I think touching on how you and I met, how we came together to do this podcast, why we came together to do this podcast, and also what has changed in the last year. I was like trying to prepare for this by going back and like just looking at like where I was a year ago versus like where I am today kind of deal. The other interesting thing that has been happening as of late for both of us is how our different businesses outside of the podcast have really been kind of funneling in energy to the podcast, which always seemed like a natural progression. And now we've been really working synchronicity with each other to support that energy and that flow. And that has felt really neat and cool and yeah, just like lovely.
Yeah.
So
I love that so much.
yeah, so I'll start. I'm Rachel. Kristen and I met probably probably closer to 15 years ago. Let's just say it's a solid 15 years ago. I grew up in a small ass town in Pennsylvania called Waynesboro. I call it God's country. Lots of farms, very simple, very safe. And I grew up with two brothers and a mom and a dad. They're both chefs, both artists in their own right. My mom is also a potter, so she makes like really cool stuff.
She's so cool.
She's so cool. And then I ended up coming to Pittsburgh to go to college. I went to the University of Pittsburgh, and then I was in IT for like probably 15 years. Met my husband through Match.com, and he is a local boy to Pittsburgh, and got married, had a couple kids, actually had a few kids, had 3 kids. We live in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. Yeah, and I had a spiritual awakening in 2024 after knowing that these gifts had lived dormant inside of me my whole entire life and have been working to open them up and use them. And I left corporate America, started a podcast, and became an entrepreneur. And here I am.
I love it so much, Rach. I'm so proud of you. You've made like so much beautiful change for yourself, and not just change though, just like creation, right? Not change for the sake of change, but uncovering parts of yourself that you didn't know were there, or even leaning into parts that you knew were there and looking at them in a new way. That's really awesome.
Yes. And healing.
So much healing.
We've talked about this on different episodes, but my 20s was a time of exploration, but it was also a pretty damning time for me too, where through that exploration, there was experimenting, there was sexual abuse happening, there was different things that I knew I had to make change to get out of that, but then I suppressed that and I really never wanted to revisit that. And through a lot of the work that I've been doing individually for myself, but also for the collective, has allowed me to continue to heal that part of me that I felt a lot of shame for and a lot of anger. And it's a continual journey. I'm not done with it. I still have triggers that come up, but it has allowed me an opportunity to do that. And I'm unbelievably grateful for the platform and the opportunity to do some of that transparently. I think for me too, that when I left corporate America, because Jeff said something the other day, he's like, you're always talking about these opportunities happening. He's like, what if you like get an opportunity to go back into corporate America? I was like, no one's gonna fucking hire me. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I've been speaking my truth on a platform that can be Googled. And what am I going to do? Walk into a boardroom and be like, what's up, fuckers? Like, I am a walking risk. Are you kidding me? Like, no. No one's ready for this.
There's that
shenanigans.
The bird fat shamer again.
That's right. HR is going to be like, I know.
We've seen your recent TikTok, Rachel, and we're concerned about how you treat the birds in Peters Township.
Poppins the birds.
I love that so much.
All right.
Kristen here, guys. Let's see, I've been in business now for myself for 15 years. And, even previous to that, I was in the business space in terms of like entrepreneur, small business world, as well as being a musician and a music teacher. And I've had a very interesting long journey with my own spiritual gifts. And that started at a really, really young age for me. And again, we've talked about this on previous episodes before, where I really tapped into that at a young age. And that's both my psychic, intuitive gifts, my ability to see auras and read tarot cards, and just deep meditation at a young age. And then I lost that through some very harmful relationships that I had. I allowed myself to lose that part of myself. And for the last 5, 10, 11 years, 12 years, I've been reclaiming that part of myself. And it's been such a hard but beautiful process, because when you are a child and you recognize and you're honing those gifts, first of all, you don't realize they're gifts. You just know that it's something that you can do that feels really amazing. And there's something very precious about being a child that allows you to access information and spiritual and psychic gifts that are much harder to reach for when you're an adult and you have to worry about taking care of your kid and, paying bills and like doing all of the things, because you have all of this noise that's happening. So I have been on a journey of personal growth to love all of me. And that is, I've never fit in the box of somebody that just did one profession. And I thought that because I was not a person, and I tried to fit myself into corporate America. And I quickly realized that, like, no matter what I did, even if I have a corporate America job, I still had 3 other jobs over here because I felt passionate about it, because I wanted to do something that was creative and fed my soul. So it's really been this long journey of accepting that being a jack of all trades is not a bad thing. And it's okay for me to accept and love and honor all of those parts of me. And they don't all have to be performing optimally in order for me to love them, embrace them, and work on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you are a true artist. And I think all of your trades, they all feed so well into each other, though, too. They all complement each other. And yeah, not only are you a teacher of music, but you're a teacher of life, too. I think that there is so many things that I have been able to learn through you and with you that you also bring to the collective.
Thank you. Okay, so I did a 3-day workshop with Rebecca Campbell this week, who is the author of Rise, Sister, Rise. And she's just absolutely incredible. It is my goal to go through and get her like certification eventually. But I'm going to pull up some of my notes, because one of the things that she does is she'll lead the whole group, right? Now, I think that there were probably 900 to 1,000 people in this workshop when I
Wow.
looked at the Zoom call. So the numbers were big. And in honoring the space around you, she has this very, very, very unique ability to put you into the collective consciousness and recognize that you are shoulder to shoulder, hand to hand with everybody else that's in that room. And so she ran us through a meditation where we would look to the left and we would recognize the person that was to the left. And every time I did this, now, like, I used to be able to very easily go into like a state of astral projection or like reaching this higher state of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes and kind of goes throughout. I was very easy to drop into this time. And I was able to very clearly see who was on my left, who was on my right, what energy I was transmuting from this person to this person, and what I was receiving. Now, I'm not an angel worker like you are, right? And I don't generally see angels at all. However, on day 2 of this workshop, I got a very strong, overwhelming sense of my ancestors being surrounding me, and there being this peachy pink light, like iridescent, angelic kind of light to my right that was supporting me, right? and sending energy through me to the person that was on my left. And it's been this very kind of interesting feeling since then because like they have not left and they were here before. I just wasn't recognizing them. Right.
I think I know who it is.
Are you thinking Samuel?
No.
Okay. Because that didn't jive with me when I was looking it up. But then I was like, it doesn't necessarily feel like an angel. It feels more like an ancestor or a guide, but it has angel energy.
Yeah, I think it's Ariel.
Okay.
So Archangel Ariel is she's pink and peachy, like that is her vibe, but she also has a lot to do with creativity and your career, and she has this distinct love of nature and animals.
Oh.
As soon as you said the color, I was like, it's Ariel. And then it makes sense too, because like it just makes sense because I know you intimately and I also know her energy, and it's a whole vibe there.
Well, and I felt very called in that moment to actually grab my Arcana of Astrology deck and do a quick pull for myself. And I pulled the 12th house, which is the realm of undoing. And it is connected to Neptune, and it is connected to water and emotion and intuition and karma and the things that are intense that are often avoided by us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just kept getting this very strongly that I was being supported. There's absolutely nothing wrong with me.
No. Yes.
Absolutely nothing wrong with me.
Nothing.
And again, to what we were talking about with Naisha is like you simply have to ask for help, right? But recognizing the thing for this is like whether it is your guides, whether it is universal energy, whatever it is that you're feeling when you get into this space, there is access for energy. And the biggest takeaway for me, I wrote this down because I wanted people to remember this. You don't have to become someone else.
No.
Right? So when we are reintroducing ourselves, when we are making change, when we are a completely different person than we were a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, like I am not the same single mom that I was 12 years ago, right?
Well, you're not a single mom.
I'm not a single mom at all.
No.
Right. Like,
yeah.
I'm not at all.
Yeah. That's not even part of your identity.
And that's the point, right? Yeah. That's the point is you don't have to, first of all, you don't have to be anything or everything.
Right.
And you don't have to be someone new. You just have to be honest with yourself about where you're at.
Yes.
You just have to be honest with yourself about where you're at. And from there, if you decide you want to be in a different kind of space or a different kind of identity, you can make actual change happen and actual healing happen if you allow yourself to recognize that you don't have to become somebody else.
No, if you're stuck in a place where like you need permission, because some people are like, am I allowed to do that or am I not allowed to do it? Kristen and I are giving you the permission to evolve without anybody giving you any sort of explanation. Like you do this without even doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like life is lifing. So you can either be a part of it and recognize and acknowledge, but you don't need to ask permission to fucking change and evolve.
The big thing with this whole workshop was talking about these are all guides, right? All of the people that are in here are guides. They're energy workers, they're guides. It's how do you work with your clients? How do you work with the collective? How do you work with other people to help them guide them through this very deep time right now where we are in this age of transition?
Oh, yeah.
Right? We are inside the chrysalis, so to speak, right? Like, that's what we're doing. And like, all you need to know is that you don't need to come away from any of our episodes or any of your own spiritual work or even therapy sessions, whatever you're doing, with anything except the teeniest, tiniest baby step that you can take today, literally 10 seconds to a minute, that is going to nudge you in the direction that feels good for your soul.
Yes. And the other thing about, you know, how you were talking about like you're never alone, because you are never alone. And when you call and invoke your team of light, you can spend some time thinking about like what your team of light, what that consists of. We've talked about this on other episodes, but it's worth mentioning. Like my team of light, I have God, I have the angels, the archangels, and my guardian angels. I have key saints that I like to call on, also the Virgin Mother. I grew up Catholic and I'm not a practicing Catholic, and I do not believe in a lot of the things that they promote. I still believe in a lot of the folks that are within that space. So St. Francis is a big one for me, the Virgin Mother. Those two I usually call on and invoke a lot. I always call on and invoke the indigenous people of this land where I live, because the power of the ancestral presence is very real. And there needs to be, for me, a level of respect and remembrance. And also, they love me and they work with me. And that has been really great. And then I have Reiki guides because I'm Reiki attuned, and they're super fun. I'm experiencing them more now that I'm doing Reiki more, and I love that. And then the ancestors. So, like, it's ancestors from this lifetime, but it's also ancestors from previous lifetimes too, and spirit guides. So, my team of light is fucking massive. Just going to put it out there. So, I have a lot of energy around me at all times. And what I want to say on this, and reflecting back to who I was, I really did not start calling on my team of light on a daily basis. I would say maybe a year ago, I started that exercise. And now it is so ingrained in my practice. Like, I always start off with thanking them for being with me, for loving me, supporting me. And then I don't always ask them for help, and they're always willing to help, right? I still have a block when it comes to abundance. It's an ancestral block. It's not so much from this lifetime, though there are key things that stem from my childhood that are subconscious that I did to feel safe. And so working through those so I can continue to unblock, to welcome in the abundance that is overflowing. There's no limit on that. So that has been really great, because manifesting and getting excited and desiring, we had a whole episode about desire and how I had to reframe that for myself. It's so fucking fun. And so when I look back at where I was a year ago and in my journey, I was in this place of learning. I was still standing in my way of being an entrepreneur. I didn't feel comfortable even saying the word. I couldn't even say the sentence, I'm an entrepreneur. I'd be like, well, I have a podcast and I don't know, I'm trying to start a business, but I have no idea what's going on, And I was very kind of lost. Let's just be real. I was lost. And I asked my team, I was like, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm not a dummy, but I'm also, I don't know. What do I do? Like, what are my next steps? And then I started winning scholarships and spots into entrepreneurial classes that were offered through local universities, that were offered through local groups within Pittsburgh. And very little effort. I mean, very little effort on my part, filling out a form, winning a scholarship. I just was like, holy shit, like, this is real. Like, it's kind of like the field of dreams. You ask and they will come, or you build it and they will come. You ask and your team will provide. Now, let me just do a little asterisk here. Sometimes when you ask your team for something, they will give you something that is a little unexpected, but it's for your greatest and highest good, right? So you might get a trial or a tribulation that you got to work through, that you got to walk through.
Life is unfolding in the way
Yes.
it's supposed to, because we are always being presented with the moments, the obstacles, the joy, whatever it is. We're being presented with whatever we need to experience in order to continue moving through our soul's life cycle.
Yeah,
To what's next. There's no, and again, and we joke about time's a construct, but so is the idea of good and bad. So is the idea of success, right?
Yep.
It's all necessary in order for you to feel the things and learn the things that you need to learn to keep growing.
Yes.
And if none of this resonates with you, if you have been listening to Rachel and I, and you're like, team of light, what the fuck? Listen, start small, because I'm not Christian and I do not invoke archangels, but I have a deep, deep connection to Mother Earth. I have a deep, deep connection to my personal indigenous ancestors. And that is a huge part of what I feel spiritually, energetically, feeling supportive with my spirit guides. And that is literally all of the time. So if this feels super, super huge to you and you're like, what do I even do? Like, start with something that feels good and something that feels manageable.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really like birds, just go sit and listen to some birds.
Yeah.
And get quiet. And maybe you talk to them.
Yeah.
Right? Or if you have grown up Christian and you feel very called to an archangel, you can start there.
And I'll say this too. You are curious though. You don't necessarily like dive into it, but you are open to it. Like even like this experience you've just had, right? So I think that's true. If anybody's listening and they have maybe a strong religious background, the other thing I just want to preface that I had to unlearn, and I think this could be applicable to a lot of people out there, you don't need a priest or a pastor or a nun or somebody who is religious for you to have your own relationship with your God. You can have a direct line. It's not, you don't have to be a special person. And I think sometimes people get caught up in that safety of, well, my priest has to tell me or my pastor has to tell me. And it's good to have people that are educated that can like walk you through how you can connect through the Bible if that's something that is of interest. And also stand in your own power and know that you plus nobody has a relationship with the higher being and divine source energy.
Right.
It's open to anybody. It's
And
not.
it could just be your guardian angel, right? Like for me, I think the reason that archangels don't speak to me is because they are part of the Catholic hierarchy. And I don't believe in the Catholic hierarchy. I don't believe in any of that. That's my belief system. That doesn't mean I don't believe in angels or in guardian angels or in spirit, right? It just means that I don't subscribe to that
Dogma.
belief system.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that business. But I do believe in the power of what religion can create for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so for that, I think you just need to get comfortable, similarly as somebody who was raised Wiccan, like I don't subscribe to all the Wiccan things. Like that's also not me, right? Like, so just get comfortable with what does feel good for you because that's going to be where you grow, right?
Yeah.
Is if you start somewhere, you're going to be able to grow in a very authentic way.
I was just that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say authentic way. Like,
right. And then we build up trust in our intuition through these tiny, tiny, tiny little things.
Yep.
And going back to identity and what you were talking about, Rachel, like with not being able to say the word entrepreneur, there's a two-sided coin to this as well, right? I personally like to attach my identity to a feeling, a place of existence that I want to be at rather than I am I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a writer, I'm a photographer, I'm a whatever. Like, because quite honestly, there's not one word that encompasses who I am, what I am, what I'm capable of.
Right.
And like, I'm a whole fucking vibe, guys. I'm a vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if that, like, it's about being in relationship with yourself and you'll eventually start to feel comfortable opening up to some of your spirit guides or seeing the potential of your own energy. If you just look back at where you were even a year ago or 2 years ago, and if you look back and you're like, I haven't changed at all.
Well, we know that's not true.
That's not true. That's justification.
Yes.
To stay and or place blame on the state of your life to something else.
Yep.
Okay, so one thing that I feel like when people start to change and evolve, right? Now, if you are truly doing the work deep down, right? I think that it just happens naturally that you start to reintroduce yourself to the world without an announcement, without saying, I'm healed, I'm this, right? Like, I feel like when you're truly doing like that work deep down, you're not necessarily having to put some qualifier on it
Mm.
to announce it to your friends or family or whatever.
It's like you graduated from college. I've
Right.
graduated from that last state of my life, and now
Right, because some people will fucking pack up and live there. They're like, "Oh, I'm this now. I'm not that anymore because I'm this."
yes, yeah,
And
yeah,
you're
yeah.
not actually doing the work on yourself. You're just shifting all that energy into some sort of new identity that feels a little bit more amenable to whatever was fucking going on up here.
Yeah, yeah. That's an interesting concept too, because naturally when you change, and we're talking about like for your greatest and highest good, right? When you're listening to your intuition, when you're following the path that your soul is supposed to be on, there isn't this need to announce it. And also, you will start to realize that people that aren't supposed to be on that path fall away. And I wanted to touch on this because this came up yesterday. So I'm in the process of switching over summer and winter clothes, which I think is an exercise that everybody should do. Okay. I'm just going to put it out there. I got some response to my thing where it was like, I have some moms that are like, I fucking hate that exercise. Fair enough.
I
But
love it.
you'll come away from it getting rid of stuff that no longer serves. Like I had this cardigan and it's a winter cardigan and it's pretty, right? But every time I look at it, I think of a particular person that I am no longer friends with. And it didn't end necessarily in bad blood. There wasn't like a big blow up thing. We just went our own separate ways, and for the better, because when we were together, it was just there was not a chemistry there anymore. We had both changed, and we recognized that we had both changed. And I was like, I'm gonna let go of this cardigan. I'm no longer gonna hold on to it
That's powerful.
because it didn't every time I saw it, maybe I felt a little bit of sadness,
Uh-huh.
because I think you grieve when relationships end, whether it's a
Yep.
friendship or it's a romantic relationship, there's that grief there. And it's part of moving on.
Well, and I will add to this. If you are going through this and you are not as close to a friend as you once were at one point in your life, and you feel anger, I'm going to tell you that you need to look at yourself because relationships are meant to ebb and flow and come in and out of our life in seasons. And if you're feeling anger towards that, I would say that there's some work you need to do on yourself. But to your point, if you're like, no, this is like, it's just the natural cycle, the progression, we're different people now. Like that's a healed way
Yeah,
of looking at that relationship and also knowing that at some point you might be different people again and come back together.
absolutely. But the thing that when you do this exercise of going through your clothes, you let go of that energy and you shift.
I think that if you are like in a place of identity work, wherever that's at, that you can ask yourself a couple of questions and just lean into them and see where you end up without having the pressure to change, right? And that is, what do you no longer need to justify or explain in your life? That's a
Yep.
really, really good one to ask yourself.
Yep.
And what feels lighter now? I know for me, I feel so much less pressure on myself of pressure and outcome than I did a year ago.
I would agree with that. I feel more confident I have more clarity with
Mhm.
where I'm going with my businesses and even with the podcast than I did a year ago.
I have a little bit of an exercise for us to do at the end that Rebecca Campbell did. It's just a little practice
Okay.
at the end of her 3-day workshop. And this is just to start to kind of see what's emerging for you right now. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to write down 4 people that you admire.
Okay. Am
Who
I
you-
doing this in real
Yeah,
time?
go ahead and do it. Who you admire or who inspire you. Okay.
Okay.
Now, mine were a mix of people I know, people I don't know, maybe just know through social media, and people that are no longer living.
Okay.
Okay. Now, to the right of them or underneath them, however you did this, you're going to write 3 words that describe them and or what you admire about them.
Okay.
So it could be their passion or their writing or their vision or whatever it is that you admire about them. You're going to write 3 of those qualities for each person.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I want you to close your eyes and center yourself for just a couple of seconds. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to allow our intuition to come in. Okay. And we're just going to allow ourselves to be grounded, to be centered. And when you feel that little bit of calm presence, you're just going to grab your pen, you're going to open your eyes, and you are going to circle the 3 words that stand out to you the most, just right off the cuff. No overthinking here. Just
Okay.
allow your intuition to lead. Okay, got your 3 words?
Got my 3 words.
Okay. Those are the things that are rising in you right now. Those are the things because your people are mirrors to what is ready to rise in you and be seen in you today.
All right.
Do you want to share? Are you going to share with the class? Or are you going to keep those for yourself?
No, I'll share. I'll
Okay.
share. All right. The 4 people that I wrote down were Lee Harris, who is an incredible healer and mystic. Florence and the Machine, who is a baddie. Fucking love her. Our girl, Naisha, who is a mentor in my life, and my mom. And then the 3 words I circled were magic, feminine energy, and unconditional love. So magic was next to Lee, feminine energy was next to Florence, and unconditional love was next to my mom.
And that's it. Those are your 3 pillars of what you lean into right now.
I like it.
That's what's emerging.
It. Yeah, buddy.
Kira, did you do this exercise? You gonna pop back in here?
Hello.
Shakira,
Hey.
Shakira.
Hi, little waffle.
Hello, waffle. Did you do the exercise too?
I did a little bit of the exercise. The thing that came to my mind was my grandfather, and I wrote down exactly 3 things about him.
Aw, so he came through super strong for you.
I mean, he's probably like my biggest inspiration in anything. I mean,
That's sweet.
he's so hardworking. He is so incredibly kind and generous, and he's very family driven. He loves everybody, like with his whole being.
Yeah.
And he's also just like so passionate about everything that he does, and it's so great.
I love that so much.
Well, that is a fantastic way to end this episode.
Well, guys, thanks for being with us virtually today. It means a lot to us. This is one of those, we could not get all the episodes in the last time we were together. So we're making it happen.
Yeah. The virtual, it's such a gift to be able to do this and to, be flex and pivot. And because, gas prices be crazy right now.
Gas prices be gas pricing.
Yeah, they need to go down.
All right. Thank you guys for being with us here today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next
Shakira, Shakira.
Right.
Thank you, Kira. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, watchers. We love you.
Love you guys.